Hello and welcome to part 2 of this series where I go through examples from each of the topics we've covered in this unit. So in this video we're looking at exercise 2F, and I've just taken question 2 from this exercise, and what we'll do is we'll work through a couple of these and I might even give you some time to solve one of them yourself, and I'll just sort of show you some of the thinking that I use when solving these problems. So let's start and we'll look at exercise 2A, so exercise 2, for each of the following, write an equation and solve it to find the number. So let's start with A. I think of a number, so first step is always to define your variable. So I think of a number, let's call that X, and then I take away 9, so I'm just going to subtract 9 from that number, and then multiply the result by 4. Now you see I've underlined result here, so we are multiplying this entire thing that we have by 4. That is our result. So I put that in brackets and I multiply all of that by 4, and the question tells me that this gives an answer of 12. Now, we're not quite done here because we do also need to solve to find x. So as with exercise 2E, we need to expand the brackets by distribution. So I'm going to distribute 4 across to each of these terms, and that gives me 4x minus 36 is equal to 12. I can then add 36 to both sides, which gives me 4x is equal to 48. And if I divide by 4, that tells me that x is equal to 12. And that's my answer. Moving over to part B, and again I'll try and do this one a little faster this time. So a number, again define our variable, I'm going to call this one y. A number when doubled, so we multiply it by 2, results in a number, so I'm going to say that's equal to. So a number when doubled, 2y, results in a number, or is equal to a number, y, that is 5 more than the number itself. In other words, it is equal to y plus 5, or 5 plus y if you want. So double a number is 5 more than the original number. So we've written out an equation. We can now solve it using strategies from exercise 2E. So we subtract y from both sides. That would be what I do first. And 2y minus y just gives me 1y is equal to 5. And that's my answer. We'll look finally at question C. And what I'll do is I'll write this down. So 8 less than a certain number is 2 more than 3 times that number. Can be a bit overwhelming. What I might do is give you a couple seconds, have a think, pause the video if you like, or don't, and we'll come back and we'll solve this one together. Okay, so that should have been long enough for you to either pause it and try it yourself, or else just skip forward until I started talking again. So we see that 8 less than a certain number. So this is our variable. So 8 less than that, which is to say, I'll use z in this one. So 8 less than z is, or equal to, 2 more than 3 times that number, which is to say it is 3z plus 2. It is 2 more than 3 times the number. And finally we need to solve this. So I'm going to get my like terms. So in this case I will subtract 3z from this side and from this side, and that will give me z minus 3z, that's minus 2z, minus 8 is equal to 2. I can add 8 to both sides. Sorry for my wonky looking plus sign there. That will give me minus 2z is equal to 10, or in other words, z is equal to negative 5. Finally, I also wanted to look at question 14 from the exercise, and this was one that we did in class, but I thought it would be useful for me to do it again here, just so that you have some kind of reference and you can see it being done, and that should hopefully help with your revision. So the question says, the second leg in a yacht race was half the length of the first leg. And I'm going to pause there, and I'm actually going to already start writing some things down. So I'm going to say let x be the first leg. Let x be the first leg. And we're told that the second leg is half the length of the first leg. So we can say, therefore, the second leg is equal to a half x, which is the first leg, or in other words, that's x divided by 2. We're also told the third leg was 2/3 of the length of the second leg. So therefore, the third leg is 2/3 of the second leg. But we know what this is. We wrote it down here. So that's just equal to 2/3 times x over 2. And I can cancel my x's here, and that just tells me that the third leg is x divided by 3. And finally, we're told the last leg is twice the length of the second leg. Also, so therefore, last leg is equal to twice the second leg, which we know is this value. So that's x divided by 2. 2 cancels, and that just gives me x. Okay, so we've defined all of these legs in terms of the first leg. All that's left now, and we're told if the total distance was 153 kilometers, find the length of each leg. So if we just add up all of these legs, that should give us 153 kilometers. So I'm going to do that. Let's say x, which is the first leg, plus x over 2, which is the second leg, plus x over 3, which is the third leg, and finally plus x, which is the fourth. That equals 153 kilometers. And finally, that gives us that x is equal to 54 kilometers. And I think in the edit I may cut out a lot of my working out because it is a fairly long process, but as you can see, this is the answer we get to.